to Recipes Galore. Today we are making eggplant parmesan, and we're going to get started with our sauce first. Now, let me show you what I have on my tray. These are the vegetables for my sauce. I have some onions and some spinach. I have carrots and red bell peppers and some cloves of garlic, and I have some fresh basil, and around on this side I have some fresh oregano. Now we're going to blend all of these up into this cup, and then I'm going to add my marinara sauce to it. So let's get started. I'm going to add just a little bit of my marinara sauce to the bottom of this, so we'll have some moisture. And then I'm just going to add all of my vegetables into my pot. And these, yes, I use the stem too, because there's very good flavor in the stem of this. So I'm just going to toss that in there, put my garlic in there, some oregano in there, and some spinach. I'm going to use my immersion blender to mix my vegetables, to chop my vegetables. It doesn't have to be creamy and smooth. I'm just going to kind of chop them loosely, so I have just a little bit of chunks. Okay, we're all done with our vegetables. They're all sliced up, diced up, chopped up, and we're going to just put them into the pot. And I'm going to take my favorite marinara sauce. This is my favorite. You can use your favorite, or you can use spaghetti sauce. I like marinara sauce. And I'm going to pour it in there with that. Shake all that in there. And I'm going to grab my wire with my whisk, and I'm going to mix it together. And then I'm going to let it bubble and brew on the stove. Now, this is a good way to get your children to eat vegetables. If it's in a sauce and it tastes yummy, then they will eat it. I promise you that. Now, I'm going to take my sweet Italian turkey sausage. It looks like this. I love turkey sausage. You can use ground beef. You can use pork. You can use, there's a lot of things that you can use instead of the sweet sausage. But I like the sweet Italian sausage because it has this flavor, and it is just like spot on and goes well with my sauce. Now I have moved my sauce to the back of the stove, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out of the shells. They have this little plastic film on them. Let me turn this eye off before I burn myself. Okay, so I'm going to take this out of its little shell and just pull it off like that, and just kind of dump it, because I'm going to crumble the meat inside, and that way it goes it'll spread well in my recipe when I go to make my eggplant parmesan. Now I just use a little flat spatula, and I just kind of excuse me, just kind of make a little chopping motion, and just chop it up. as it cooks. It's starting to cook, as you can see in my pot, and I'm just steadily just using my little chopping motion because I don't like big clumps. Some people like meatballs. I'm not a meatball fan. I like the crumbly meat. So this is why I crumble mine up. Okay, so our meat has finished cooking, and we're gonna take my spatula out, and we're gonna use our slotted spoon, and we're just gonna transfer it. Make sure we get all the oil out of there, and put it into our sauce. And stir it in. Let me turn this down because it's starting to splash. Be careful with that because it will splash, and if it splashes, it's going to burn you. So be careful with that. So we're just gonna carefully take all the meat out of here. Make sure that we drain all the oils off of it because we don't want a greasy sauce. That we definitely don't want. So I'm just gonna take all of this meat out of here, and I'm gonna put it in my sauce, and I'm gonna let it continue to cook. Get all nice and yummy, yummy, yummy. Okay, so I'm gonna need some breadcrumbs and some Parmesan cheese. Now you can get the kind in the little green, the clear bottle with the green label on it, and you know, the little shaker kind. You can get that kind of Parmesan cheese. That's fine too. But you're gonna need some breadcrumbs and some Parmesan cheese. I made some meat sauce. I will, excuse me, excuse me. I made some meat sauce. In my meat sauce, I ground up some carrots and some spinach, and I had some red bell peppers and some oregano, some fresh oregano, and some fresh basil. You can buy these little things at the grocery store in the produce department. And my favorite tomato basil marinara sauce, and I had some sweet Italian sausage. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, I have already prepared my sauce for time's sake, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see the beginning of how I made the sauce. So please be sure to go back and watch this on YouTube, my Facebook friends. So we're going to get started. First thing we need is our eggplant, and I'm going to slice this little green part off. Now that I got that sliced off, I'll put that aside. And I just like to use my potato peeler. I use this for everything. Apples, peaches, whatever it is I'm peeling. It's not just for potatoes. I am just going to peel this. It comes out pretty easy. It's easy to work with. So make sure that you have a couple of eggs beaten. And when I say beaten, I'll show you my bowl in just a second, because you're going to use the egg wash to dip the the eggplant in. So we're almost done cutting this. Oh my goodness, this is a big eggplant. But I love Italian food. My husband loves Italian food. So this is going to go a long way. Now, secret. If you want it to taste, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, when you make it, cook your sauce, prepare your sauce, your meat sauce a day ahead of time. That way all your flavors get all wrapped up in there, and oh, it's so yummy good. Because you know pizza and spaghetti is always better the second day. That's why it's better the second day, because all those flavors have had time to come in and congeal and get it together. Now, I'm going to slice this thinly. I'm going to turn it over this way, and I'm going to slice this, oops, if I can get it to slice thinly. So, I don't like this thick. See, just about that size. So, I'm slicing this thinly, because this is going to be like, you know, lasagna noodles. Okay, I'm going to move my skillet because it seems to want to join the program prematurely. So I'm going to move it out of the way, and I'm going to cut this in thin slices. But you know how you put lasagna noodles in the, if you have made lasagna or have eaten lasagna, you know what I'm talking about. When you put lasagna noodles into the pan, when you put them in there, they always are thin. They're not a big thick clump of spaghetti. So you don't want your eggplant to be real thick. Now we're going to coat these. I'm going to cut up enough for us to mix. Oops. Of course, there are troubles trying to get this thin enough, because I have to have a steady hand. Apparently my hand is not steady today. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. I did it. Now, I have some special oil that I'm going to use when I cook these eggplants. We're just going to brown them on both sides. And I got it from my special friend who came to visit back in February. And she knows who she is. She was visiting the high country here in Texas. And she stopped at this olive oil place. And she got me some blood red orange olive oil, and some blackberry olive oil, and some basil olive oil. Yum! So I'm going to use that today because it's going to add a lot of flavor to my eggplant. Now, I got a lot of eggplant here, so I'm going to start cutting right now. And this is my egg wash. But what I need to do first, I'm going to take my plate, and I'm going to start with a cup, 1 cup of, okay, let me cut this. Watch your fingers if you're doing this at home. I'm going to take my breadcrumbs. I'm going to take a cup of breadcrumbs and a 1/4 a cup of Parmesan cheese. That's the ratio that I'm using. Now, a lot of recipes call for flour with this, but I like the breadcrumbs. Now, I got my breadcrumbs. Now I'm going to get my Parmesan cheese and get a 1/4 a cup of Parmesan cheese, and then I'm going to mix this together. Shake it up in there. Okay, that's my 1/2 cup. Uh-oh. Hang on. Let me grab my... There we go. There's my 1/4 cup. 4th cup Parmesan cheese. And all I do is I just kind of go like this and mix it up together. Now, what's really going to make it yummy is I'm going to put some of my favorite Italian seasoning in here. Show you which one it is. This is one of my favorite Italian seasonings. It can go on meats, on potatoes, whatever you want to put it on fish. But it's garlic and herb seasoning. And I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit down there on that. Don't want a whole lot, don't want it to be too salty. Let me adjust my camera so you can see what I am doing over here, down here. So I'm just going to kind of mix this like this, so it's all good and coated. And now I'm going to, oh goodness, let me clear off my little thing, my little cutting board. Now what we're going to do is going to take the eggplant, dip it in the egg on both sides, and then we're just going to there we go. That's what you want. It's coated on both sides. And we're just going to lay it to the side, and we're going to get all these done, and then we're going to start our oil to getting hot. I don't like my oil to get too hot because I don't like this to burn. There's nothing worse than tasting burnt food. It's a big turn off to me. So now I got those coated. I'm gonna coat a few more, and then I'm gonna turn my I'm gonna turn on my oil over here and just drop it on there. Kind of put that on top. And make sure you wash your hands when you get done with this process, because you are dealing with raw egg. So wash your hands. Oh, you love eggplant parmesan. Oh, you make your own breadcrumbs from scratch. Well, this is the quick, simple, easy method today. Oh, I have made breadcrumbs once before, and that was when I was like 20 some odd years old. So it's been a minute since I made breadcrumbs. I'm sure I can do it, but I take the quick way out because most of the time I'm in a hurry. So we got all these coated, and I'm gonna do a couple more, and then we'll be ready. There we go. It's gonna be yummy, yummy, yum. There we go. Okay, one last one, and then we're done. Now, when you're doing this, it depends on the casserole dish that you're putting it in, as to how much eggplant you want to use, how many layers you want to use. It's up to you. I usually do 2 or 3 layers. Depends on who I'm feeding. Today it's gonna be me and my husband, so it'll probably only be like 2 layers. So I'm not going to. Let me wash my hands off right quick. Don't want to touch anything else with that. Okay, now I'm going to put my olive oil in my skillet. Let me turn my camera so you can see me a little better. Okay. Lift that up a little. There we go. So, I'm going to pour a little bit of this in here. Not a whole lot. I want it to flavor my food. But the majority of the oil I'm going to be using is some canola oil. Or you can use vegetable oil, whichever one, or you can just use plain olive oil, whichever one works best for you. Okay, so I'm going to add some canola oil to that. So I have enough oil in my pan to make this, to spread across the bottom. You don't want a thick, you don't want to drop like you're dropping chicken in the fryer. You just want to have enough oil in your pan so it coats the bottom of your pan, because we're going to flip them over like pancakes. I need to get this warm so that we can put all our I don't know what it is, but every time I get ready to come on here and talk with you all, my allergies start kicking in. Yes, Anne Marie, I cut them thin because with the breadcrumbs on them, it makes it a little thicker. And I don't know about you, but I like it to be like a lasagna noodle. I like it thin like a lasagna noodle. So that's why I cut them thin. Now we're going to, let me turn this down a little bit. We're going to put them into the skillet. Just kind of place them in there. Now, I'm telling you now that the breadcrumbs will soak up the oil. That's why you don't, another reason you don't want a lot of oil in there is because these breadcrumbs will soak up the oil in your pan. So I'm going to put these four in there and let them go for it. It's going to be yummy, yummy, yummy. Now, I have like a medium-sized casserole dish. So those four will probably fill up the bottom of my casserole dish. And when I get done with those, I'm going to do another layer. I'm going to set this aside for now. When I get done with these, I'm going to do another layer because I'm going to do like 3 layers. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I have enough. If you are making a huge pan of Parmesan, you might want to buy more than 1 eggplant. And you're going to need more than just the 2 eggs, because the more you dip, and it takes a lot more eggs, and hold on. It takes a lot more eggs and a lot more breadcrumbs to do what you need to do. So just keep that in mind, that you will probably need that extra. Now I'm going to flip these over, because I don't like cooking them too long. Just long enough to get them a little brown. And it smells so yummy with that seasoning in there and that olive oil in there. Now you can find this olive oil. It's bottled by, let's see, where is it? Texas Hill Country Olive Company. I'll let you see that, because you can probably buy this online if you want it. And let's see, they have if you want to email them, it is info@texashillcountryolive.com. Olive Co, not company, oliveco.com. So if you want to get some information about their olive oils, you can do that. Ooh-wee. That's hot. Now, let me flip this one over. And one more. Now, when you make your sauce, make sure that your sauce has moisture in it. Don't make if you need to add a little extra water to your sauce or a little extra sauce or tomatoes or whatever to your sauce, make sure your sauce is kind of juicy. And the reason for that is because these breadcrumbs absorb. And the last thing you want is a dry sauce. So I always, when I use my favorite marinara sauce, I usually use about this much water. Put this much water in the bottom of it and kind of shake it around and get all the rest of the remnants of the tomato sauce out of there and pour it into my sauce. That way there's extra moisture in my sauce. So when this eggplant draws the sauce, the moisture from my sauce, there's still enough there where it's nice and gooey and just yum. Okay, so I'm going to take these out. I'm going to show you what it looks like. You see that? That's what it looks like. I'm just going to put this right over, whoops, here. Take these out of here. Now we're ready to put some more oil in our pot. And we're going to cook the rest of them. But while these are cooking, I'm going to show you how I'm going to layer it. Oh, that smells good. There we go. Just enough. Now let me mix all this together. All this yumminess. All right. Now, I'm going to flip this in here so I can have 4. I only have 2 done. So I'm going to flip this in here so I can have 4 of these done and go into my pot at the same time. And there's 1. And there's 2. There we go. I need 1 more. And like I said, thin, thin, thin. Where did I get this dish? You know what? This dish actually belongs to my husband. If you're talking about the casserole dish, it belonged to my husband before we got married. So guess what? It belongs to me now. That's what marriage does for you. It joins you together. Everything, including appliances and pots and pans. So, there we go. Now, I'm going to pull this out and clean my hands right quick. While that is doing this thing, we're going to line our casserole dish with the Parmesan, the eggplant Parmesan. It's going to go right just like that. Now let me flip these over. There we go. Nice and yummy. And right about now is a good time for you to turn your oven on. You're going to bake this at 350 degrees for about 30-40 minutes. Depends on your oven. Because mine cooks fast, so I always cook a lot of things that are supposed to be at 350. I cook them at 325 because my oven cooks fast. And I like for it to be, you know, right on time. Now, I'm going to turn this stove off because I'm going to show you this and I don't want these to burn. I'll let them sit in the pan. Now, this is my sauce. Again, I use sweet Italian sausage, but you can use any meat that you like. Let me show you what's in my pot. All that yummy goodness is in there. Okay, so first, I'm just going to just take some and just spread it around there. Make sure I get it covered good. Because like I said, nobody likes a dry sauce. So, I got that. And now, I'm going to use my mozzarella cheese. You can use whatever cheese you want to. Again, experiment in your kitchen. Got my mozzarella cheese. And I'm just going to sprinkle it over across there. It doesn't have to be a thick layer. It depends on how much cheese you like. If you're a cheese lover like me, then I like a little extra. And I like using more than one kind of cheese between my layers. I'll save the rest of this for on top. Now, I'm going to take these out of here, out of my pan, and just lay them right on top of it. Make layer number 2. What? That was hot. There we go. Now that's layer number 2. And all I need to now is to make another layer to go on top. And I'm going to put my meat sauce in here. The good thing about this meat sauce is if you don't use it all, you can put it in a container, you put it in the freezer, and make you a little spaghetti one day, unthaw your meat sauce, voila, simple as that. You don't have to worry about going through the process of making your sauce. It's already ready. And there we go. A little bit more, because I like a lot of meat on my sauce. And I am going to use cheddar cheese now. Where did I get my cheddar? Oh, there it is. I'm going to use a layer of cheddar cheese. There we go. I just like different cheeses in mine. I'm not going to use as much of this as I did that because I'm going to put some Parmesan with that cheddar. Just because I can. And now, all we need now is to put another layer of Parmesan, the eggplant on top, and put whatever cheese you like on top of that. And make sure you cover it up with some aluminum foil or with a lid. I like using this one because it comes with a lid and the top does not burn. So I will cook this for like 30 minutes and then I will take the lid off and then let the cheese brown for another 10 minutes. And that way the cheese is not all crusted over and hard. So you'll have some nice yummy cheese. And that's it. I'll come back another day to show you the spinach bread that I make to cook with this. It's so yummy. Now, you can find this recipe and other recipes on our YouTube channel on youtube.com/AskTheNanny. And, excuse me, while you're there, be sure to subscribe to us, okay? And that way, you'll get a notification of every time I upload a new recipe. Because some recipes take too long, and like breads that have to rise. And so I will take pictures or do a video of it and put it on my YouTube channel. So just so you won't miss a meal or a surprise, subscribe to our channel and you'll get notifications so when we upload a new recipe. And I will see you all next time. Thanks for cooking in the kitchen with me today. All right, let's get this ready for the oven. We're going to cover this with mozzarella cheese. And then we're going to put it in the oven for about 30 minutes. And then we're going to take the cover off and cook it for another 10 minutes so the cheese can get brown on top. Now, let's cover this and get it ready for the oven. There we go, ready to go.